Hey guys, I'm gonna try to keep this short, but I gotta give you all the deets, so hear me out before you give me any advice. Me and my wife tied the knot at 22 right after we graduated college. We've been together for 16 years now, and during our 14-year marriage, we've had a solid relationship and still love each other. Honestly, in February and March, I kinda dropped the ball and neglected her a bit because of work and other stuff. Long story short, she ended up hooking up with one of her coworkers during that time. A month ago, she did something she later regretted. I believe her because I've talked to other people and found evidence backing up her story. She told me about it the next day, and it hit me hard. It felt like someone punched me in the gut and ripped my heart out. At first, I was in complete shock and just stared at her. But then I lost it and said some really awful things to her, which is not like me at all. Honestly, I can't even remember everything I said. She broke down and apologized multiple times. It felt real to me. She looked genuinely sorry for what she did. I could see it in her eyes and in how she's been acting ever since. About a week after she confessed, I told her I'm gonna file for divorce. But I'm waiting until after this whole quarantine thing is over. She cried quietly and went to the bathroom without saying anything. She asked for my forgiveness but said she understood if I couldn't give it. She said she's willing to do whatever it takes to save our marriage and fix the mess she made. She even mentioned that if we end up getting divorced, she said she'd give up any unfair settlement she might get because she thinks we should split our money fairly. I have more money than her, so she thinks it's only fair. Through all of this, I think she really feels bad about what she did and wants to fix our marriage. But I still want to go through with the divorce. Our parents have talked to me about it. They are mad at her for what she did, but they still think we should try to work things out. But I've never been one to just do what people tell me, and besides this mess, things have been pretty good lately. So basically, my wife has been crashing on the couch for like the last month or so. We barely talk except when it's about our kids or what's ahead for us. I've been MIA in terms of communication, even though she's been trying. I still haven't really forgiven her and I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it. It's not just about trust, although that's definitely been shattered. It's more about feeling totally betrayed, even after a few weeks have passed since finding out. I'm still so torn up about how I feel and I have no idea what to do. I've been thinking about what to do for like a month now and I'm still lost. It's clear to me that she's really sorry for what she did, and it's not like her at all. She's been trying really hard to make things right between us, even though she knows I haven't been putting in the same effort lately. To be honest, I don't think I can forgive her. So, like, my wife totally betrayed me, but then there's my kids who will be screwed up if we split. Sometimes I just want to go through with the divorce to get back at her, you know. It's like, I'm so mad and resentful towards her. She says she'll do anything to save our marriage, but she'll respect whatever I decide. I'm torn because I can't shake the anger, resentment, and betrayal I feel from her. After being married for 14 years, I look at my kids and the love we've had for 16 years. It's weird because this behavior isn't like her at all, but she seems genuinely sorry and is trying to make things right. So here I am, asking Reddit for help because I can't figure out what to do. After waiting for 2 months, I've decided to go through with the divorce. During this time, my wife gave me space and privacy and did everything she was supposed to. In the past month, I really tried to make things work, but it just didn't happen. We started talking again and got closer than when I was ignoring her completely. We even ended up sharing the same bed again, but nothing ever happened. Things were moving forward to a certain extent, but in the end, I just couldn't see myself getting close to her again. I remember a specific time about 2 weeks ago when she tried to make a move in bed, but I felt guilty and asked her to stop. She backed off and apologized, understanding where I was coming from. After that, she never tried to make a move again out of respect, but she let me know. If I ever wanted to give it a shot, she said she'd be cool with taking things slow. There were times when things got better and we got along, and I thought there might be a chance. But in the end, I just couldn't do it. I don't know why, but I can't seem to get over the betrayal she did when I told her I wanted a divorce. She started crying right away, but she respected my choice and said she'd go along with the fair divorce settlement she had offered before. I just felt like I needed to get out of the house, so I started packing my stuff. At first, she offered to leave, but I felt like I needed some time alone to sort things out. She actually helped me pack, and when everything was ready, tears started flowing down her face. She excused herself and went to another room where she completely lost it. I won't lie, I also broke down after realizing that this might be the end of my 16-year relationship with the woman I thought I'd be with forever. We hugged each other afterward, and it felt comforting to hold her like that. Hey y'all, just wanted to let you know that me and my partner are splitting up. It's gonna be an amicable divorce. I appreciate all the advice you've given me. Some folks might have forgiven her for cheating just that one time and moved on, but I feel like I gotta do this for myself. I tried my best to get over it and even thought there was a chance, but in the end, I knew things would never be the same. I need to figure out what I want in life. I gotta see what the world has in store for me, and I'm not just talking about dating or messing around. I need to get out there and discover myself, maybe even improve my hobbies and find new passions along the way. I can't say for sure if this is the best move, but it just feels right. Once I figure things out, we'll start splitting up the parenting duties during the divorce. It's a mutual agreement we made because we both know we're good parents who love our daughters. My wife brought up the idea of giving things another shot after our break. I'm not sure if that's what I want, but thanks to everyone's advice and some time passing, the anger has faded. I still can't stand what she did, but I don't regret the 16 years we had together. In fact, I appreciate the time we shared, especially because of our two awesome daughters. I'm not sure what's next, but I'm feeling both anxious and excited to see how things unfold. Hey, guys. So, I gotta spill the beans about what's been happening in my life lately. The two people I usually confide in were both part of the situation. I've been with my girlfriend, who's also 28, for about 5 years now. Our anniversary was at the end of August. Things didn't really get serious until after college, like most relationships. We've had our fair share of ups and downs, and I started to feel like we weren't as crazy in love as we used to be. Don't get me wrong, there was still some of that spark, but it just wasn't like the early days. And then, she met someone. Hey, so there's this new guy at work that started about 9 months ago. At first, we both thought he wasn't into women. But then he started going out for drinks with one of my coworkers, and I knew that was bad news. I would have done anything to protect her because I really cared about her, and I thought she felt the same way. Turns out, they started sending dirty texts and emails to each other in December and January. At the same time, they were sneaking around at work for late-night rendezvous. Me and FF used to hook up and fool around, even giving BJs, but that all stopped around late January or early February. He started seeing me as a real person, not just someone he could ignore while avoiding my girlfriend. Over the next few months, FF and I became close friends. He would crash at our place all the time and would have a blast getting drunk together. I jokingly called him hermano, brother, and we bonded over our love for Arrested Development. Then, out of nowhere, things started heating up again. I'm not sure when it happened, but it did. I don't even know if she's really telling me the truth anymore. And guess what? She told me that it was sometime in the last 2 months, same old story. I know they didn't have sex because she has some issues and pain with her lady parts. Yeah, she struggles with tampons and stuff. But now I'm freaking out, thinking she might have done it anyway with FF about a week ago on Wednesday night. We all hung out together and got pretty wasted. I was cleaning up the mess we made in the hangout space and kitchen while my girl was brushing her teeth when FF said something about a shirt or whatever. So, I knocked on his door to check if he was still up. No answer. He had just hit the hay. So, I quietly opened the door and saw the bathroom light spilling into the dark room where my girl was brushing her teeth. I caught a glimpse of her hand on the back of his head in the window reflection as they were getting all hot and heavy. I walked back to the couch, trying to wrap my head around whether any of this was even happening for real, all that. Man, that was some crazy stuff. I was sitting there for like a whole minute, shaking and trying to figure out what to do. I needed to make sure it was really happening and stop them from doing anything else, so I went back and caught them still going at it like nothing else mattered. I couldn't bring myself to say anything to them, it's just not my style. So I grabbed my keys and slammed a drawer, which finally got their attention. Then my girlfriend comes out and asks me what's up. She could tell by my face that something was wrong. I just kept walking towards the door and she tried to stop me. So there I was, right. And then she shows up at my door, apologizing and all that. She was saying she never meant to hurt me and blah blah blah. We went back and forth a bit, but I don't really remember all the specifics. Eventually, I managed to get away and just started walking. She kept calling out to me, but I just ignored her. When I finally got to my car, I let it all out. I'm just glad I didn't honk the horn. That would have been a stupid move. If you've ever been cheated on, you know how overwhelming it can be. This was a first for me, and man, it's a lot to handle. Okay, so here's the deal. You're probably waiting for me to say that I told her off, hit the gym, and hooked up with a model or something. Well, you're in for a letdown because after answering her third call, I finally got out of the car. We had a rough conversation, and just as things were getting intense, my phone died on me completely. To make matters worse, it started raining. It was like something out of a movie, man. A few minutes later, she found me walking and crying. I asked her every question that popped into my head. I just needed to know, you know. Man, even though some folks may not believe it, she only told me half-truths. I had a feeling she would, but at least I got some answers. I walked her back to our spot to make sure she got home safe. Don't even think about telling me I should have just left her there. I may be mad at her, but I still believe in being a gentleman, even in crappy situations. FF's car was gone, so I decided to crash somewhere else for the night. I stayed up all night with those haunting images in my head. It was I don't really believe in it, but it felt like a glimpse of hell, you know. I know it might sound like a soap opera, but that's really how it felt. I'm sure some of you are pissed off right now, but that night I just decided to go for it and try to make things work. I love her so damn much, and that feeling hasn't gone away. It's the one thing I didn't doubt all night. I had some doubts in my head, but I didn't want to call it quits. I know the rules say not to come at me in the comments, but if I had seen this post a week and a half ago, I probably would have reacted the same way. I really hope we can make this work. I'm not one to open up easily to others. I'm not close to my parents, and while I have some friends, I don't share everything with them. As you can see from this post, she's the one I can truly be myself with. She doesn't judge me, she loves me, flaws and all, in a way I've never experienced in any other relationships. But man, she cheated on you. There are plenty of other girls who can be that person for you. You should dump her. It's not that I don't care. Man, she was cheating on me, and honestly, I get it. I miss the thrill of something new, like those flirty texts and emails that I stupidly started reading. That's what made me write this post. Sometimes, those playful flirtations just happen, and she got caught up in it. I can't really blame her for that. I know some of you probably want to punch me for saying this, but in my worst moments, I would never cheat on her. I've had chances to break boundaries in a serious relationship, but it's not about whether I did or she did. I don't know what's going on, to be honest. I'm not scared of being by myself, and I don't think I'm being unreasonable here. I really want to make this relationship work, and she does too. Hopefully we can fix things before my birthday next week. Lucky me. Update, I ended things with her and moved out today. That's the latest. I found out more about her cheating, but I don't feel like going into detail. The extra info didn't change my mind. It's been a rough 3 months, and I'm over it. Man, I'm so glad that's finally done. I want to thank everyone for all the support, even the not-so-supportive comments. So, let me give you a bit of background. I met my husband right after I finished college in a new city, and he completely won me over. Our first date was amazing, and 3 years later we got married. Now we have an 8-year-old daughter, and we both have really busy jobs. Balancing work and taking care of our kid keeps us on our toes, but my husband always manages to make time for us. So there was this guy at work, Nick, who was really nice to me and treated me like a queen even though I didn't really give him the same level of attention back in early 2019. Nick is around my age, married, and has 3 kids. We started off innocently enough, going to work events together and having chats. But over time, things got more physical, sitting close, light touching, you know. I guess he reminded me of the passion my husband and I used to have when we were younger, which made me feel more connected to him. Okay, so, eventually we started hooking up and I knew deep down it was messed up, but I just kept going without really thinking about how it could mess things up with my husband. This morning started off like any other, with my husband getting in the shower before me and me taking the chance to sleep in a bit longer. Last night he mentioned he was gonna swing by Costco on his way home from work, so I figured I'd sneak his phone and add some stuff I wanted to the shopping list. I happened to know the passcode for his iPhone, so I opened the Notes app to add some stuff. So, get this, I opened up the app and there's this folder full of dates, going all the way back to March. I was like, what the heck? So I clicked on one of the dates out of curiosity, and guess what I found? My husband's secret diary. I had no clue he was keeping one. As I started reading through it, my heart just shattered. Turns out, he knew about my affair and was trying to cope with it. He found out about a month after it got physical. Man, talk about a bombshell. He locked his phone and hid it when he came out of the shower. I helped him look for the phone I hid, but luckily he has a separate work phone, so he wasn't too upset about not finding it. He left the house with only his work phone. I took the day off from work and read through every diary entry. It's making me feel nauseous. In the first 3 months after my husband found out about my affair, almost every entry was about his plans to make me fall in love with him again. He described in detail how he wanted to win me back. Just forget about Nick, man. He was all talk about taking us on a week-long vacay so I wouldn't catch him buying my favorite flowers and cooking up my favorite dish. But despite all that, I still kept seeing Nick as time went on. And I just kept lying to my husband about it. He even wrote in his diary about how his resolve was weakening, how he was getting depressed and feeling all alone and unloved. After 3 months, all his diary entries were just about his depression and how he'd cry every time he knew I was with Nick. He described how every night before, well, you get the idea. Every night as he was dozing off, he would picture Nick's body on top of mine, which made him feel physically ill. He kept going on about not wanting our daughter to go through the same thing he did with divorced parents. But then, I stumbled upon a diary entry from a month ago that really shook me. In that entry, my husband wrote about a night when I was with Nick and he was putting our daughter to bed. He was, as usual, crying to himself, but suddenly the tears stopped. He wrote that his body had finally stopped crying over our failed marriage, according to him. Night was like when he felt like his soul was being torn open, like a band-aid being ripped off. In his diary, he talks about how it took him 6 months to finally get rid of that band-aid, and now that it's off, he feels a sense of relief. It looks like he's gotten over me. 2 weeks ago, he wrote in his diary about wanting to meet someone new, a 403 girl. He admits he doesn't know how to start a new relationship, but is curious about connecting with someone other than his wife. My husband knows about my situation. Man, I've been cheating on my husband and making plans to see this other person when I'm supposed to be with Nick. I feel like crap right now, so ashamed of myself. I kept telling myself that no one was getting hurt and that the affair would just fizzle out and things would go back to normal. But I never realized how much pain and suffering I was causing my husband. I've cheated on him multiple times and he's put up with it all. What do I do now? I swear I'll never cheat on him again, but I'm worried it's too late for me to have this wake-up call. Where do I go from here? Hey guys, I know some of you might have some not so nice things to say about me and that's cool, but can you please help me save the marriage that I completely screwed up? Thanks.